Welcome everyone to Pathways to Wellness. Today we're going to be talking about Tai Chi. And I have a guest here, Eric Randolph. He's going to be helping us understand the basics of it more. And so with that, let's go ahead and get started. We've got a little slide here that says what the names are. There's like 3 names here, Tai Chi, Tai Chi, Tai Chi Quan. And so Eric's going to help explain that. He'll talk about his journey and also some foresight, what's coming in the future. So welcome, Eric.
Hey, well, thank you. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you all for inviting me. I've been studying Tai Chi for over 30 years now.
Wow.
Yeah, over 30 years now. I started in 1991.
Okay, a couple of years ago, right?
Indeed.
Yeah.
And so just on this wonderful journey, and getting to understand the body more and how to embody our true self and our true nature within the body through our movements. And so it's just been an amazing journey, just watching people grow, watching people transform into the most beautiful, most wondrous aspects of themselves. And so I'll be doing this until whenever.
Whenever. Well, that's great. Well, tell me here a little bit. There's like they call it Tai Chi or Tai Chi. It's spelled different ways. So, what's the 3 different ways, and what does that mean?
Well, the Tai Chi, the T-A-I-C-H-I, is actually a Taoist term, which means the way.
The way. Okay.
The way, and it is about how the natural forces are within the universe, and how there is a way of behavior of the natural forces to which, if we're paying attention, we can take part in and create and manifest in that nature.
Okay.
And then you have the T-A-I-J-I, which is the one that's connected to the duality of movement. The duality of movement, you have positive, negative, you have light, dark, those type of aspects. That's usually what the T-A-I-J-I, also known as the Grand Ultimate, which is talking about, the dualistic system that's within the 3-dimensional aspect. And then you have Tai Chi Chuan. And Chuan, which is the Q-U-A-N, means boxing or fist method. Now, many people misinterpret this aspect because they say Grand Ultimate Boxing. But most people think boxing as in, you defending yourself against another person. And that is one part of life. That is one part of life, but it's a very small part of life. What they're really expressing in Taoist terms is the nature between the ego and the soul. And how there is a constant dual interplay of one trying to dominate the other, and how to find the balance within life and within the movement of life, the creation and the manifesting of life, and how movement, when done at a certain level, can actually provide a doorway into the understanding of the beginning of creation, and how that balance can be maintained and sustained perfectly.
Wow, that's fantastic. I didn't know any of that, so that's great. So you started off a little bit about your journey. You started in 1991.
Yes.
And
oh my goodness.
You've had some, I guess, different masters that you've worked with.
Yes. My first teacher into the internal styles into the Chinese internal styles. So let me make a distinction. Right? So you have the school of Shaolin. And you have the school of Wudang. Right? The school of Shaolin is from Bodhidharma, and that is from Tibet, along with Chinese aspects, and that's from India. They study Buddhism. And they are from a Buddhist sect. Wudang is a Taoist sect, and it is strictly from China. Right? So the China sect has the internal styles, and the internal styles that they have that are known, there are billions of them, but the ones that are most known, readily known, most famous, are Tai Chi, Bagua Zhang, Xingyi Chuan, Liu Habafa, and a couple of others that are mixes between internal and external. But my first internal style of martial art was Xingyi Chuan, which is a Muslim internal art. Okay. And I learned that from Master Anton Haddad, who had a Shaolin school down in the middle of Oakland and Pittsburgh. Okay. And so I was going to his school, and I went to school for maybe like a year or two with him learning Xingyi Chuan, the 5 elements of Xingyi Chuan I learned. And then I ran into Glenn Hairston, who had a school right across the street from him. Had no idea the man was even there. And it was on Tai Chi. And I saw it, and I immediately was like, that's me. Okay. That's exactly who I am. That is what I will be studying. And I was so excited. I went to a school, and even though it was extremely difficult, I was so in love with it. I just stuck with it. It's the only thing that it's one of the only things, like music was a natural aspect for myself too, but it's one of the only things through effort that I felt like this is where I'm supposed to be. I'm not supposed to be anywhere else. So yeah.
Good. All right. All right. And with all that background and training and stuff that you've personally done and helping others, and we'll get to that later in these shows, what's like the foresight that you have with your Tai Chi? Like, where do you want to go with it? I know you've got some stuff on the...
Oh my goodness. Yeah. I do holistic retreats.
Yeah.
Some will be getting very big. We have one coming up in Ibiza.
Yeah.
And that'll be coming up in
That's
between.
In Spain, right?
It's in Spain, yeah.
Wow.
So it's either September 12th. We're trying to figure out the dates that we want to do it, or towards the end of September.
Okay.
And we have a meeting on that this evening. Okay. I'll be teaming up with Bikini Beach, Australia, along with famous podcaster as well as my student Anita Vita Rise.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and so we're going to collaborate together to make that happen and create that. Writing a book, as you all know, known as The Way of Chi.
Yeah.
I'm doing that, and that is a really, really big endeavor because you would never think that writing a book about your life would be difficult, but goodness gracious.
It's easy to talk about it, but hard to put in words, right?
Put in words, yeah. It's like, really, you're constantly going back and going, no, I want to see this like this. Yeah. I want to see this like this, and this is the way, because that's the way I felt when I was doing it. I don't want to just clinically, mentally say how I did something. I want you to come along the journey with me while you're reading the book.
Yeah, yeah.
I have to say, give it its proper introduction and its proper credence within my life. And so beyond that, I teach for chronic illness, constantly helping people with whatever's going on with their autoimmune systems and everything else. One of the things that I really want to get into, that is probably going to take me a couple more years to do, because you have to get up the energy to do it, is I want to help in St. Jude's.
Oh.
I want to really get into programming for doing Tai Chi for children who have chronic illness and have terminal illnesses.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah, I really want to get into that. I'm really passionate about that, Yeah. So yeah, and there's a bunch more stuff that we can talk about.
All right, well, let's just show, we've got a little picture here. He doesn't actually have his book published yet, but let's show that little chart there with his new book, The Way of Chi, Age of Super... Sentience, yeah.
Yeah. Tai Chi is really an interesting aspect of learning, just like yoga, and there is a interconnection with your true self that is extremely necessary for navigation while you're here. Okay. You have yoga, you have Reiki, you have massage, you have all these mediums that are to get you more into your body.
Yeah.
So that you can actually walk around here and be like, oh yeah, that's what you meant. That's where you went. That's where you really want to go.
Yeah.
You know, and so I think because of it, our sensory perception is advancing at an exponential rate when you do these type of practices, and so therefore our species as a whole is becoming better as we get older, and getting older is becoming more of a blessing and more of a treasure than it is something that you want to run away from. You know.
Well, that's great that someone like yourself is bringing us to light about that, you know, and our whole pathways to wellness, our pathways to journey, our pathways to finding that inner core of strength. Mm-hmm. Well, we're going to take a quick break here, and when we come back, we're going to do a little bit of demos of the different types of qi, basic energy. So we'll be back in a few moments, okay? Thank you. Welcome back, everyone, to Pathways to Wellness. As you know, today we're talking about Tai Chi, a lot of different forms of it, a lot of different theories on it and philosophies. And I've got my guest here, Mr. Eric Randolph. Thank you. And what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the basics of form first. So let's throw up that chart of information. Eric's going to show us the beginning of Qi, and he'll demonstrate how you dip your hands. He'll then go into the Qi balls, which helps recognize that energy source. And then he'll develop how the form starts with some of the mechanics, and he'll show the shifting and the turning and the twisting. So with that, we'll come back here to Eric, and let's get started on showing us the beginning of Qi, how it works.
Thank you. So the one thing that most people don't understand is that Tai Chi is extremely different from stretching and from any other form of movement. If you do not have Qi, you are not doing Tai Chi. And it's so elusive for most people to teach it that it's very difficult for anyone to believe that it's real. Like, most people think that it does not exist, it's not a true thing, you know, until you find somebody who actually can teach the method properly. And that's really difficult, because you can have a good practitioner, but it doesn't mean that they have the ability to teach the inner mechanics. Teaching in itself is its own, you know, side way of expertise that you need to have as well. And our school is one of the very rare schools. I've been actually lucky to have the gift of being able to teach. And so I'm able to teach something that usually takes people 10 to 20 years to learn within 5 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah. I was lucky enough to have a teacher and to study long enough in order to really internalize enough that I could actually speak upon it with clarity. So we're going to start with this practice known as Qi balls.
Okay.
So,
well, and dipping the hands too, right?
yeah, Qi balls is dipping the hands.
Oh, is it? Well, there you go.
Yeah.
I'm always learning. Let me get out of the master's way.
It's all right. No, in Qi balls, when you're first beginning, you have to imagine that you're taking your dominant hand and you're dipping it in water, and you're bringing it up, and you're watching the water drip off of it, and you're painting the scene before you with the water. And then you bring it back, and you dip it back down into the water. And you bring it up again, and you paint the scene before you with the water. You want to get as visual as you can. See the water. Is the water clear? Is it blue? What color is your water? What does it feel like? Is it cold? Is it warm? Which way is it for you? And as you keep doing this movement, one of 5 sensations shall come to your hand. Either itchy, tingly, hot, cold, or an electrostatic field shall come to the hand. It can be in the palm, it can be in the fingertips, it can be on the back of the hand. But once you get that sensation, one of the sensations, and you may get more than one, you go to your secondary hand and you do the same thing. You dip, you imagine that there's water, you bring it up, and you paint the scene before you. Something so simple, but yet complex. Some of you may get it instantly. Some of you may need a little bit of time. Depends on what's going on, the stresses that are going on within the day.
That makes sense, yeah.
And don't rush. You are not in a competition. It's just you all by your lonesome. You aren't competing against anybody. Take your time. Doesn't matter whether it takes you 5 minutes a day, or whether it takes you a week, or whether it takes you a month to do. Chi is real. All you have to do is learn to integrate yourself more fully, which is what this practice is for. The mind and the emotions in the physical body, the reason why you can't feel your chi is because the mind, the emotions in the physical body have been doing separate things. They have not been working together. And so therefore, this brings it together. So once when you do that and you feel one of the 5 sensations on your left hand or your right hand, depending on what dominant hand you are, you do both at the same time. Dipping into the water, painting the scene before you. And then what you want to do is you want to bring your hands up. You want to have your palms face each other. You want to open your fingers slightly and your thumb slightly. And then kind of like you're making a hamburger or a cheeseburger.
A cheeseburger.
My preference.
Yeah.
And
So you don't have to be a vegetarian to do Tai Chi?
No, you do not.
You could be a meat eater?
No, you could be a meat eater. Matter of fact, the Taoists believe in balance.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, you would have vegetables and meat. You know, they would work together, and fruits. They all work together, and nuts.
Okay.
They all work together. And then rightfully portioned, they work together. They believe that anything and everything that we experience here has a higher purpose.
Gotcha.
And with temperance, you can get the best of that thing, including alcohols and poisons. They believe that, and as you will know in medicine, alcohol and poisons are used in medicine for healing people. So once when you're doing this, and you're working on this, you will feel something very interesting, and I'm not going to talk to you about it because I want you to have your own experience.
There you go.
But once when you have it, you'll know you have it, and then you'll have your chi. And this is known as the beginning of being in your chi ball.
That's so cool. Now there's another big essential part is you're starting to learn the form, right? I remember, so I was taking some lessons from Eric. It's been about a year since I've really spent a lot of time with him. But he was helping us to develop the form, and he was explaining there's a big difference with the shifting of the hips and the turning of the waist. And so if you can tell us some of those mechanics for us, that'd be great.
Definitely. Yeah. So, all right, so as you may understand or may see, there are 3 components to the way you move naturally that you totally are unaware of on a constant basis. And if you were more aware of it, you would lessen your falling and your tripping and you're banging yourself into objects. That is the most basic baseline of Tai Chi Chuan that helps. This is the reason why doctors actually use it in rehabilitation.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Because it is a low impact rehabilitation practice. And it helps you with understanding your balance. And when you've damaged your physical body, in some way, shape, or form, the first thing to go is your balance, being able to walk or being able to sit properly or move properly. Mm-hmm. So you want to learn the mechanics of how am I doing this? How am I centering my weight in my body so that I can move from one space to another? Well, it's three-way, right? You have your hips, you have your waist, and you have your spine, okay? These three fulcrum movements, from the coccyx up to the central mass where the sternum is, up to the top of the head, help you to navigate naturally, and you take it for granted like you wouldn't believe, all right? So the first thing you need to understand is about shifting. Your hips shift your weight from one side to another. From one side to another. That has absolutely nothing to do with your waist. Your waist allows you to turn without having to move your body. I can turn from this way all the way to this way without affecting my balance, as long as I do not change the dimensions of my hips. Now, if I need to change my direction fully, like to go in a different direction, then I have to use my hips. So, and now I can walk this way. And now I can walk this way. What I can't do is, and then try to walk that way, right? Right. The hips are for repositioning and changing the whole body within a space so that it can go in a very different direction. The waist is so that you can actually access the side and the back if you need to, but yet still stay centered down into the ground, right? And understanding that is extremely important, right? Because mixing that up, which most people do, they think the waist and the hips go together, and so they go to do stuff like this, which takes the knees out of alignment. And once the knees are out of alignment, the back becomes out of line, the ankles become out of line, and the tension from the gravity pulling down upon you goes straight inside the body instead of down into the earth.
That makes so much sense.
Right? So there is a definitive way that you have been taking for granted about the way you are moving. So if I want to move, I have to remember I shift first. I turn with my waist naturally, because that aligns up my knee naturally with my foot. So the bones align up naturally together with the pulling of the gravity down so that I can take a balanced step in the direction that I wish to go. Right? And I should be able to, with that understanding, be able to stop on a dime anywhere. So I go to walk, I can go boom, 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 boom here, and I go to step down, but oh no, there's some dog stuff right there. Someone didn't pick up after their dog. Man, that's not okay. Let's not step there, right? Makes things very, very simplistic. Or someone stops and they're glass, they go glass, and you need to step behind yourself, so you go here. Right? Understanding the hips and the waist and how the fulcrum from the coccyx with the head and the spine makes you able to move as one complete whole movement, balanced straight down through the core of the earth.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Oh, there you go. Simplistic.
I know Eric can tell us like another hour's worth of stuff,
yeah.
right? But We're going to, here, I want to show you some pictures of him and his form, so if you can throw those up. So this is Sifu. Did I say that right? Or Sifu? Sifu. I always say that wrong. Sifu. And anyway, just some of him doing some of his form there, but he looks like he's got a little chi ball going in the center, and this is the movement. So we're going to take a quick break. We'll come back and we're going to talk some more about the forces of nature and some other things for Tai Chi. So we'll be back in a few moments. Thank you. Welcome back to Pathways to Wellness, and as you know, we're talking about Tai Chi and about the different types of chi balls that can be made and how to movement, the mechanics. And now we're going to talk a little bit about the flow and forces. So let's look at that chart real quick here about what we're going to talk about. There you go. The directions is spherical physics. Not sure what that is, but our Sifu here will tell us. And the forces with Tai Chi awareness. So let's come back here and then we'll have Eric give us a little discussion about that.
So what you may not know is that Tai Chi was created by Taoists of long ago, and they were studying the forces of nature and the heavens within the universe. And Tai Chi is a literal physical representation of how the sun has the many planets and how it's rotating around each other. There are 4 primary heads that we will discuss for just a small amount of time today, known as ward off, roll back, press, and push. Ward off is how a sphere moves upward. Roll back is how a sphere moves downward. Press is how a sphere takes both sides of itself and focuses in on one point. And push is how a sphere separates both sides and expands itself centrally. Okay. Each and every movement is the explaining an actual application of spherical physics, and how, when used, one can understand what was the intention of the universe and how we were created from the beginning of time to our present moment. And also how we will evolve from our present moment into the future. And yeah, kind of like that. We could go really, really deep into it because of the psychological aspects it transforms and the emotional aspects it transforms. Because of the factor is that when you're talking about using spherical physics, you're talking about being able to balance pressure so that pressure doesn't reside inside of yourself and it finds its way out of you. So imagine if you have a lot of tension, and we figured out through a lot of trial and error as human beings that stress creates this ease. It is the number one unaliving of all things present. And so imagine practicing practices that allow you to not allow the tensions to build up inside of your body and to cause you to destroy and actually start practices within the body of destruction. So imagine if you had that technology inside of yourself. You're like, ooh, I no longer get arthritis. I no longer have bad bouts of falling. I can do a bunch of other things and heal a bunch of other things because I do not interpret stress the way I used to, at the level that I used to. And so therefore you find that you have these natural technologies inside of the body through awareness to actually end all pain and suffering for the human experience. Just with a little bit of practice.
Well, there you go. I mean, he's just such a wealth of knowledge. Like I said, we could have a dozen of these shows and learn from him. But let's go ahead and show up some other pictures of Eric and his practice that he's been doing. He's being there doing, again, his practice on the left, and then on the right, just being aware and just kind of chilling and just thinking about almost like a meditative state.
Indeed.
So we're going to take another quick break, and then we'll come back and review, and we'll see you in a few moments. Thank you. Welcome back, everyone, to Pathways to Wellness. And we've got Eric here, and he's been a great guest today. And as you know, we're talking about Tai Chi, the basics of it, and we're going to do a little bit of review of it. So why the three names? Eric will explain that again, the basics of the form, and just the flow and the forces of it. So let's go back to remind us the three names of Tai Chi. And
indeed.
Yeah.
As you remember, TAI is equal to the Taoist understanding of the universe. Okay. And it's known as the way.
The way. Okay.
The way, right? And then you have TAIJI, which is about the duality within the system. Okay. And it's known as the grand ultimate. So it's talking about your experiential understanding of dualism within the system. Okay. Right? And then you have the Tai Chi Chuan, which is about the experience of being and the being and how that being is being experienced through something, through the physical body, and how that it's a dualistic system and how it needs to come together in order so that you can have a full and complete understanding of what's really going on within your reality.
Okay. Wow. That is just so much information. I'm going to have to replay this many times myself to remember it. All right, so the basics of the form, you were talking about the beginning of Qi, and you were dipping your hands and making the Qi ball. Can Indeed. You review that with us again?
Yeah. Through that practice, through Tai Chi, it's a very specific practice for getting you to get in touch with the more subtle energies that make up your body that do exist. Okay. They do exist and they're very real. And they cannot be seen, but they can be felt. Okay. And they also can be seen, but that's a whole different practice, which we're not going to talk about today. Okay. So, but you have that. And then once you have that feeling, then you know you're actually in Tai Chi awareness, which is Tai Chi Chuan. Okay. But without that awareness, you have to be honest with yourself as a practitioner and hold yourself to quality practice of being okay, I'm not there yet. Okay. I need to keep practicing so I can get there.
Well, show me the dipping of the hands again. And
remember, you're just dipping in, water's coming off, and then you're just painting the scene with the water. You go from your right, then to your left, depending on what's your dominant hand. Yeah.
And you guys at home can do this with us too.
Big time. And then you can do both hands at the same time. Just hear it out. And this is really, you'll find it extremely relaxing. Extremely relaxing. And then you want to go down again, and then have it come up. Palms face each other, open the fingers and the thumb slightly, and then turn back and forth like you're making a really good burger. Or a cheeseburger, or a chickpea burger, whichever one you want to do. Whatever kind of burger you want.
Whatever's good for your
preference is right. Indeed.
Cool.
It may be gluten-free, wheat-free, the whole night.
That's great. We don't want to offend anybody.
That's right.
Everybody's beliefs.
That's right.
And then the mechanics he was showing us, which was a great explanation of how like there's the hips that shift back and forth, the waist can move, and then how you can move your body, you know, along with the spine.
Remember that the hips are the square.
Okay.
The waist is the sphere.
Oh, there you go. Mm-hmm. And what's the spine then? Mm-hmm. Then what's the spine?
And the spine is the S. It's
the
S shape.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. It's the S shape.
There you go.
Yes, it is.
Well, hopefully you guys enjoyed today what we learned. There's a lot to it, and then, you know, we've got a lot of information here about Eric and how to get in touch with him. So we'll throw that information up. He teaches online and of course in person, and he does his different movement classes. We're going to go in the next video. We're going to talk a little bit more about his teaching, but also if you have chronic illness. So, all right, thank you. Well, thanks again. Yep. Until our next one, and we want to thank everybody. So thank the viewers, and we'll also thank Sifu Eric.
Thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me. That's wonderful.
You're welcome. All right, you guys.